Hey guys, it's Rachel. It's Thankful Thursday, and I'm here this week. I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so I'm making this on the Wednesday, and somebody will have it uploaded for me on the Thursday. So I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, so I won't have a video the week after. And I mean, I could say I could have a video for the week after that, but probably not. So you're probably not going to see me for a couple of weeks. Ooh, yeah, no. So this week we're making a series of videos which is looking at body intelligence, and what the idea behind that has been is about helping you understand, perhaps through how I've experienced it and some of us have experienced, how to kind of get in touch with your body a little more. When we suffer with an eating disorder, we become very detached from ourselves. We are very much in denial about what's going on for us physically, emotionally, whatever. And so we kind of, that denial numbs us a little bit. The starvation, the binging, the whatever takes away the reality of what we're trying to deal with, basically. Because of the nature of an eating disorder, more often than not, a person is more likely to, sorry, my head's going off there, to shut down really, and to stop talking, and therefore become perhaps even more detached from themselves and from the people who are around them. So we're looking at things like tiredness, hunger, stress, anxiety, and trying to recognise some of that, trying to understand what we're feeling rather than kind of either denying what we're feeling or pushing what we're feeling aside. And to be able to kind of put that in context, I know that a lot of people who I've come into contact with through my self-help group may be using behaviours, but because the group is a group to talk about things, although they're using behaviours, there seems to be less denial with regards to what is happening to them. So they're not sort of in the group going, oh yeah, I do this, this, that and the other, but it's not a problem. They're aware that it's a problem. I think that what makes them more aware of it being a problem is that they're talking to people. They're not even talking necessarily about their behaviours, but they can say, this happened today, and I've spent the whole morning kind of using behaviours, and I'm not too sure what's going on. So they'll bring it to the group, and we'll kind of try and talk it through. Being in touch with your body is difficult. It requires a lot of acceptance, at least that's kind of what I needed to do. It's about realising that we're human, and it is about realising that we have feelings, and we're not some robot, we're not some eating disordered kind of no feeling, no nothing. We're a person, we're a complete person with our own set of feelings, our own set of emotions, our own set of needs, wants, desires, the things that comfort us, things that make us feel safe. And we're all independent with that, and those things come from different places for different people. And so in getting in tune with your body, it's allowing yourself to feel, and that for most people with an eating disorder is incredibly overwhelming, because the reason we use behaviours, even when they become, even when we don't consciously know we're doing it for certain reasons, it's a means of coping, which might sound like the most obvious thing in the world, but that's what it is. It's ultimately a way of either tapering your emotions, it's a way of feeling the emotions and then trying to get rid of them, and it's a way of just dealing with things that are very, very difficult. Sorry, I need to stretch my leg. What you might tend to find is that a person's behaviours begin to worsen to an extent the more in touch with themselves they get. Being very numb can have its advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are that by using behaviours and making yourself numb, you are not having to deal with what's going on in your life. You can push everything to the side, you can pretend that nothing's going on, you can pretend that you're not eating disorder, tell yourself, oh, I'm a normal weight, I've stayed the same weight, I've gained weight, I've not gained weight, whatever it is. This is just, it's not really a problem, it's just something that's going on, and I'm really actually, you know, this fat person who doesn't really have an eating disorder. And that's easier to think, you know, when you think about that and you think about food and calories and behaviours, and you just completely lose sight of who you are as a person. You lose sight of what you're feeling, and of where you're at, and so you live in this, like, even as a restrictive anorexic or as somebody who's binging and purging, you live in chaos. They're very different forms of chaos, but they're completely detached from reality because you're not actually allowing any different thoughts in your head other than the eating disorder. So with regards to recovery, that's about reining in some of that and saying, right, okay, these are the behaviours I'm using, and almost doing, it's something I do in DBT called a chain analysis, and it's basically saying, right, I've used this behaviour, what was behind that? That can be a very difficult thing to do on your own, not only because it's difficult to recognise it, but it can be quite emotional. So I think you can do it to an extent with yourself, and you can look at circumstances which can be triggering your behaviours, but you have to be mindful of not doing too much on your own, because it may present very, very difficult feelings which actually might worsen things. So my advice would be to do it with somebody. It doesn't matter who that is. You can do it with a friend, you can do it with somebody who you trust, and just say, will you just help me have a look at kind of why things have deteriorated so much at the moment. You can do it with a therapist, just anybody who you feel you can talk to, and try. Sometimes there isn't a reason for why we're ill, sometimes there isn't one thing that's caused it, and sometimes it's very difficult to understand the complex nature of an eating disorder and all the things that led to its development. And when we're trying to get out of it, it can be incredibly overwhelming to think that we need to look at all of that stuff. And what I will say to you is that you have to do it in steps that feel that you feel capable of managing. And whilst there's a distinct difference between staying in denial and keeping your behaviours, holding on to your kind of favourite bits, as you know, Mario Hornbecker says, and letting go, you need to be able to allow yourself to feel enough that is help you confront your issues, but not so much that you completely overwhelm yourself and go backwards. So within my group, I will say to people, okay, you've been using these behaviours, say, for the past week or so quite intensely. Let's take a step back and what's happened this week. And it can be like the most mundane things. And I know some of the girls won't mind me saying some of this, but you know, they sometimes will say, God, just something that their flatmate did, or just things that not ordinarily don't impact us, but when we're in a vulnerable place really impact us, and it's like another thing, another thing, another thing, another thing, and it just feels completely monotonous, and it just feels completely just like story of my life, everything always goes wrong at the same time, and that black and white thinking can really kick in, and we're suddenly stressed, anxious, tired, we don't know what we feel, we're not sleeping right, we're not doing all of those things. And for me, what recovery is about taking that step back, and I say that to the girls, take a step back and say, okay, you know, what has gone on this week, what has caused this absolute manic cycle, and just saying, how am I feeling, you know, what am I feeling right now, even if you don't know words for feelings, even if you can draw it or picture it or photograph it, and be real with yourself. And when I've struggled, it's been about just taking a step back and just being with myself for a few minutes and saying, right, I'm not even sure what I'm feeling right now, but I'm pretty knackered, my body's kind of aching, I'm probably a bit stressed, I know that like uni's been hard and I've been dealing with personal issues, I'm sleeping a lot more and I could be really critical of myself for that, but maybe my body just needs it. And it's about giving yourself, just letting yourself off and just allowing yourself to be a human being, because that's what we are. And it's okay if we cry a lot, or we sleep a lot, or we feel like we're on the phone to, you know, our therapist all the time, or our best friend, or whoever. But these are all means of coping that become healthy coping mechanisms, so that even if somebody can say, maybe you're just really tired, Rach, you know, maybe you just need to take a couple of days. And that's something that happened to me a couple of months ago. The team came round and they were just like, you need to just let go of your commitments for a couple of weeks, do what you can do, but don't be so critical of yourself. And sometimes that's what we need, and by having that time for ourselves, it allows us to know where our body's at, because our bodies get so confused using eating disordered behaviours and all the other mental health issues that are associated by it. And we need to be able to understand the situations perhaps that are causing negativity for us, that are perpetuating the difficulties that we've got, and being honest with ourselves about that. And what I kind of want to say to you is, if you're watching this video, if there's anything you take from it, it's just that you give yourself this evening, whenever you're watching this, just a few minutes to just say, where am I at? Okay, I've been kind of lost in my head for the past I don't know how long. I need to sit down and I need to just think where I'm at. And it doesn't mean you have to delve into really difficult feelings and emotions, but it's about just saying, what is my body telling me? Is my body telling me it needs more rest? Am I feeling kind of completely anxious and agitated? What can I do to try and ease that? If I go and draw, or go and paint, or take a walk, or go and interact with my godchildren, or just allowing yourself to think about yourself and put yourself first. And that's something that's changed dramatically with me over the past year, is that I might be making decisions and making choices at the moment which others may not agree with, but I'm trying to do the best by me, and that's all that any of us can do. And that's getting in sync with your body, and what I'm trying to do is to get in sync with physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and just be the best person I can be for myself, not for other people, but for myself, and to treat myself with the kindness and respect and dignity that I would other people. And you'll be amazed at the results of that, and you'll be amazed at how much of your own self, your own personality comes through because of that, because you're not in this robotic state. I'm going to leave that now, guys, and like I said, I want you to take from this video just a few minutes, even if you jot down some things about what you think you need at the moment, and what you think would help you. And in giving yourself that space, you're going to better understand, you know, why you're tired, why you're stressed, why you're anxious, what your body's telling you with regards to needing nutrients, needing nourishment, needing rest. And even if you can't do that all day, every day, just having a moment which is for you, where you go and have a long soak in the tub, or you go and make a phone call to a friend, or you just lie and watch like 6 episodes of Criminal Minds, and just do something that's about you, and that something's helping, that's going to help you move forward. And I will see you guys hopefully more times, yay, after 2 weeks in the sun, which I can't wait. And I'm going to miss you all, and I love you all, and keep fighting. Heart. Never give up. Love you. Bye.